Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Void Jumpers, my favorite motherfucking Wednesday of the week.
Language. Jesse.
Apologies. Before we get started, I just wanted to throw this out there. This is mostly for chat. We're kind of taking a poll. Everybody on the team is really behind this idea. In fact, I didn't want to say anything, but Connor in particular pushed me to.
Wow.
There's been some call for maybe like a Tuesday morning slot on the Zoe Twitch channel, doing something like a book talk with Jesse, where we could just like get together and talk about books, or I could read them out loud to you, or I could just sit there and read, and you can kind of gauge my reaction to the material based on my expression. Anyway, I don't want to bog us down, but if you're really into this idea, smash that like button, get in the chat, do whatever kids do. Make it happen, okay? I'm here for you guys. So book chat, possibly Tuesday mornings with Jesse. Anyways, welcome to Void Jumpers, an actual play tabletop. I'm going to revert to the script here because I'm off the rails. What's up? Welcome back to the show. Happy that you're here. We'll be playing Monster of the Week tonight on Void Jumpers. It's a game created by Michael Sands, and it uses a system based on the Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics. This will be an actual play stream, but our focus will be on the characters and the narrative. So we've bent some rules, broken others, and created a bunch of our own. So forgive us, but we're just having a good time. I think that's enough out of me. I'm going to just bring a whole team in here so they can save us from me. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, man, I really wish I thought a little faster and had a book ready to just kind of give you a little hype, man. I like particularly the idea of a reading stream, but you aren't reading out loud. You're just reading the book.
Yeah. Just one of the many great ideas I have for book time.
The old stud's turkle.
Oh, we're just gonna go books? All right.
You can tell we're real smart because we all had books within arm's reach.
Whoa! Awesome! Sweet dungeon module. That's a classic.
Okay, at least it wins.
That is sweet right there. That's wow. I'm impressed. That's real eye candy for me right there.
I can show you some other stuff later.
Ooh.
So I have a feeling tonight's stream is going to be extra silly because
I
it seems
so.
like that's just where we're starting off at.
I think there's going to be a party death tonight. That's, I think, where we're headed.
Yep.
I mean,
And I think I'm going to cause it.
yeah, I mean, Tag has definitely been out of control.
Yeah, I'm coming for the summoner. I'll tell you what.
I got ghosts. Back off.
Upward mo- Holy shit! Let's make it canon that Tag just has like a really earnest paranormal interest. Like would totally watch Ghost Hunters every night if there were televisions that it was on.
Because it's true. Because it's true, and we should
really
know.
is just always like maybe it's ghosts.
Everything now.
All right. Speaking of the insane stuff that each and every one of you
go
pulled
back to
last
the
time.
actual show, Jesse. That's fine. Take us on back. I was enjoying our little, sojourn here in Chatland.
Real life bores me. It's
Wait, his real life commentary about what happened.
All right, here's what we're going to do. This is going to be Casey's first time, so we're not going to make him go first, but we're going to just touch on a couple of the events of last episode. And some wild stuff happened because you guys tried some wild stuff. We also introduced a new character. You guys decided to pull some crazy shit. So we're just going to go around the loop here and have each of you talk about a moment that worked for you or that you remember that you think might have some relevance moving forward. And we're going to start with Tag.
Yes. Yes. In your fucking faces, every one of you.
Language.
Jesus.
Well, not to begin with the end, but it is hard to shake the vivid memory of our closing moments of last episode, where Tag, sprawling on the ground in a just opened elevator, flanked behind him by Chavanaugh and two guards, plunged his bladed tonfa into the foot of one of these armored guards, I believe, like kind of the elites of the universe. Immediately after which, Chavanaugh fired a shot directly at the summoner. It was really chaos. It was chat that clued me into the reality that this was a cheese-coated blade coagulating with the blood of this elite guard. And
Also, whatever the creatures were we killed on the Bloom planet.
You can assume, let's allow it to be part of the fiction that Tag didn't just like kill a bug immediately, just put it back in his pocket.
I don't know.
Let's also make it canon that Tag has a pocket for his sword, which is different from a sheath. Maybe say pocket. Yeah, okay.
All right. How about Bryn?
Oh, God. Well, there's a couple moments, but if I was to focus on one moment, I think it was the exploding cheese. I don't know why Tag and Bryn constantly get into hijinks with food, but it kind of just seems to be our thing. So having the idea of cutting the cheese with his massive weapon and having it explode everywhere, and then Captain Matt Mansell coming in, scooping up the cheese and putting it on a cracker and actually eating it, was kind of a highlight for me. It was pretty funny.
Ghosts were a strong highlight for me too.
Ghosts were also a strong highlight. 100. Okay, so turning the summoner ghost into Shavana ghost, firing everybody. I really hope that comes into play today.
I forgot that that's what that ghost turned into.
Yeah.
That's what this note that I wrote myself means. It says, ship is haunted, Chavanoff fires.
Yes.
I thought that they were two different notes, but they are one part of the same note. Okay. Rex.
There were a lot of really fun action-filled moments, but I think the moment for me that stuck out for Rex was the confrontation with Chavanaugh. Because so far, all along, we've seen Rex just be, a badass, but also like a good company woman. And suddenly that's all being thrown into question. And she's being accused of essentially being a traitor to the company.
And you went to lengths because there were many situations in which you could have just walked through a room and taken care of all of the threats, but you went to lengths to have your friends help you appear to be captured or disarmed, or I'm not doing this because I want to be, kind of like for any surveillance that might be on you.
I don't, I'm not sure it's going to hold up under strict scrutiny. There's definitely like the cohort of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of us walking together to an escape pod, and Rex is just like, yeah, I wish I could help my team, but I'm walking with this other group. We got momentum on our side. I can't break stride.
Well, Puck helped escort Rex out initially, It's Stockholm Syndrome. She's, been abducted from her prison cell, and now she has to get on the escape vessel. It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Sam slash Puck?
So for Sam Hagen, the moment is very clear. It's you know, having spent so much time in a very sort of suspicion-filled lifestyle, uh, skepticism of his fellow humans is, you know, is a very common thing. And to witness when they were in prison, to watch Rex discover or question the trust that she had with the corporation or the trust that she had with Chavanaugh reminded Sam of the feeling of what it was to really trust someone else. And instead of what he would have assumed would have been his reaction, which would have been sort of like an "I told you so" or "those are the breaks," there was a rare moment of empathy for Sam, where he was reminded of how he was before he was so jaded, and I think that maybe opened up something in him that he had forgotten for a long time.
That's really sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
That's very
Makes me
sweet.
feel bad about, like, using the stabbing a dude's foot with the cheese sword for my moment, but we are where we are.
Yeah, all right. I think that puts us here. So I was trying to get myself an outline of where I think we could go because I wanted to be ready in case you guys got farther. I wanted to be prepared. The part that I didn't plan for was where you're at this moment because it just was so crazy. I didn't want to try and predict what the hell you guys were going to do. And I feel like there's several beats you are just going to need to figure out on your own. And then, assuming you're all alive by the end of those, I might have some content ready. But that's on you to make it to my outline, okay? You're in the midst of the cook pot right now, okay? And the heat's getting turned up. I'm going to just set the stage, and then we're going to jump right into where we left off, really. I mean, right now, you are in a small chamber that leads towards an elevator. But behind you is a large hangar bay that is full of several different mercenaries and security forces that are running around, firing at you, at each other accidentally. There's a ghost of their boss flying around, firing them, and being insane. Nobody's really gotten a handle on that. You've just plowed your way through using the brawn of Puck, a character who we just met towards the end of last episode. And we are now looking at an open elevator door. Tag is laying on the ground, looking straight up at Chavanaugh, who has been the antagonist of this little part of your journey. And he has just stabbed one of her guards in the foot. Her reaction was to pull a Void Blaster, point it at Bryn, and pull the trigger. And that is right where we left off. What would you like to do?
If at all possible, I would like to step in front of the princess.
Sure, roll help out.
Princess.
Sorry, protect someone.
Okay, that is what is the thing that I add to
Plus tough.
plus tough? Then I am a 9.
Okay. So you want to take this blow for her?
Yes.
You're going to just step in front of her, and the void bolt is going to glance off of you. However, it does push you back into her, and the two of you are kind of tangled up. You don't take any damage, as we've seen void bolts just deflect off of you, but you are now kind of cramping Bryn's style and have unceremoniously just jumped in front of this bullet.
Sorry, princess.
I'm not a princess. It's cool. You can
Majesty.
just call me Bryn.
I thought she was a.
I called her a princess because I thought she would be a spoiled little brat, but she's actually pretty dope. She's a summoner.
Oh, my mistake.
Okay.
Anyway, I
Connor,
raised
you're
my
on mute.
2 blasters.
Okay.
So I have an idea. I raise my 2 blasters and I point them directly at Chavanaugh and I say, "You're under arrest. We're taking you into custody for mismanagement of this ship."
Interesting. Okay. Roll manipulate someone. So roll plus charm.
Oh, I don't think I have any of that. We're about to find out how much I have. Da, da, da. Yeah, I'm -1.
Ooh.
That's a 6.
Perfect.
Oh
Chavana smirks and laughs. Connor, you're on mute, and I feel like we're missing so much juicy stuff. The past 3 things you've said.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. It's good. It's humbling to remember that the things that I have to say don't really affect anything one way or the other. This is a good reminder. I'd like to help out.
Please do.
I believe what qualifies me to do so is having a sword in one of these guards' foot.
Sure. You are also within. You could touch Shavanah's foot with your cheek. You are in the realm of helping out.
I think it's more what happens is I'm still lying on the ground, and it seems like I thought we were about to go into battle mode. Rex has just surprised me with this act of not quite diplomacy, but whatever we're going to call it. So I don't want to. I just don't want to disturb it. So I stay lying on the ground. I don't know what I'm doing. I just say, "Yeah, citizen's arrest." And I just kind of wiggle the tonfa a little bit in the dude's foot to make sure he knows that I'm still kind of, I got one up on him.
All right. You are rolling plus cool.
Or in this case, minus cool as well. Hey, listen, Rex. I tried my best. I don't believe that a roll of a 5 will help you in this case.
It does not. Both of you should mark experience, by the way.
Oh,
So
I think that
I'm gonna-
means I leveled up.
Excellent. Normally that happens in the moment. We'll deal with it because we're in kind of a tense situation. Maybe
Yeah.
later. All right, so here's what happens. You are going to give 1 harm to the guard whose foot you just wiggled a tonfa in, but it does cause him to jump back and shoot you.
Oh.
They are armed and they have guns and they've been at the ready. This particular gentleman has not been doing too hot with a sword in his foot, but he does shoot you. The weapons that these guys are holding are a lot different than the little void blasters that have been bouncing off of your friend.
They're
They
much
look
smaller,
like
aren't they?
heavy duty rifles that are much larger.
I got it. Big, very frightening, but kind of more bark than bite.
Where is everybody's harm at right now?
So I think quite relevantly, as I'm being shot, should mention that we even had this moment last episode where I started and I was like, "Oh shit, we got so busy drinking space bubbles, I didn't heal from the giant scorpion attack." I then, in that whole 3-hour episode, did not heal. So I remain at 3 harm, which I think 1 more will destabilize me.
Okay. Do you have armor?
I have a perk, or not a perk, a move called Invincible that I took from the Chosen playbook when I leveled up. And
You
that
always
gives
have
me a natural 2 armor.
Okay, you were lucky because this void rifle does 4 harm.
I don't feel like I'm lucky. I feel like I'm in very critical condition.
If you had no armor, you would be dead.
Wow, that would really... I thought we were making jokes when you were like, if you guys make it. That was a...
You
That's
guys failed 2 rolls in a row against people that have guns pointed at you. You need to get your shit together.
I'm going to pull out my staff and heal him because I just got a new healing spell.
I will allow that, but it's going to take a second because he's actually affecting a roll that Trin failed, and he just tried to help out and failed on top of it.
Oh, boy.
So,
will you... I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is the first time I think any party member has gone unstable. Does anything happen? This will be... I'm now at 5 harm. I go unstable at 4.
Yeah, so the way that we're going to say this is it's always context sensitive, the effects of what being unstable means. The mechanical outcome is always that you are not healed and will continue to take harm at whatever rate your injuries like justify if you are not stabilized. So for the purpose of this moment, you are just entering into a state that will have consequences later. But the reason that you are going to be injured is because this thing hits you like a freight train and actually damages your ribs, and you're not sure if they're bruised or broken. But now when you're moving, you are feeling this pinch.
Okay, but it's not a unconsciousness.
No.
Okay.
There, not right now. That could be an effect. I kind of have the you're really fucked at my fingertips as soon as you become unstable. This thing doesn't knock you out.
Okay.
Shavana points her gun at Rex and says, "That's not how this works," and pulls the trigger. Her Void Blaster does 2 harm because it is just one of the small pistols that you've seen. I believe you are wearing some kind of vest.
Armor. Yeah.
Okay. So it does not break your armor, but it does hit you and makes you stumble backwards, and you drop one of your pistols. Things are now happening really fast. Bryn, you wanted to heal Tag?
Well, now I'm not so sure. Who's in the elevator? I mean, I do, but there might be something.
I want to just empower you, Lisa, to prioritize the urgency of the situation and story, and I appreciate it, but I think my heels may need to take second seat, passenger seat.
Yeah,
Passenger
who am I
fiddle.
looking at? Who? It's Shavana and 1 guard or 2 guards?
2 guards. One of them is injured because he has a sword stuck in his foot. The other one looks fresh as the day that he got out of boot.
Well, he's injured and he's demoralized because it was a blow to his ego more than necessarily to his body.
And so it's Tag in the elevator and them in the elevator?
Yes.
How many moves can I do? Just one?
I think you just start going, and if we get to a place where it's cumbersome, we'll cut away and cut back to you. You'll be able to finish whatever chain you're on.
And what floor are we on?
You're on the lower deck.
Is there anything lower?
Just outer space and a lot of it.
I can't do that. That's too evil.
How much is a lot?
I would like to pull out my staff.
Okay. I think you just have it in your hand at this point.
Okay, yeah. And I would like to. What I would like to do is I would like to pull Tag out and at the same time put a barrier up that closes off the elevator and makes them stuck in there.
Okay. I think that you can cast that barrier where Tag is.
Okay.
In a way that it will not be on top of him.
Okay.
So there's room in the elevator for you to separate them, and then if you guys want to try and get Tag out, you'll be able to do that too. But just put up a barrier. You got a barrier spell, right?
Yeah, that's my main spell.
Okay. Roll plus weird.
Okay. I mean, I really wanted to shoot that elevator into space, but that would be really bad.
It's a cool idea, though.
Oh, no.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing?
That's a 6.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The barrier severs Tag in half.
No!
It
Wait, but I have
places
something
like
if it
that,
fails.
though. It does not do any damage or hurt Tag in any way, but the barrier forms around his midsection. You actually close the elevator off exactly where the doors would be. So now Tag is half inside the elevator behind a barrier, and his legs are outside. The barrier...
So Shavana and the guards are still behind this barrier as well?
Yes. So it's kind of weird the way that this is going to happen. The way that it's written is that it just is like having 2 armor. So right now, it's just like, it's not impenetrable, but it is like taking the juice out of anything that is crossing between it. Potentially turning these 4 harm rifles into 2 harm rifles, which seem to be a bit more manageable. So we now have a barrier.
There's still a target in the elevator for these rifles.
What you see is Shavana register this and step out of line of sight so that she's actually placed herself against the wall where you would imagine the buttons would be. And her 2 guards seem to be at a loss because they do not know what the extent of this barrier is, but it is visible. I think that it has like a pinkish reddish glow, and it looks like a force field that is in front of this thing. So they're not taking an immediate action, but they have not stood down. One of them still has a sword in his foot, so that's really taken his thing. I think that he's just kind of struggling with tag. But Casey.
I would like to rush towards the elevator.
Okay. That won't require any kind of move. What do you want to do when you get there?
I want to try to pull Tag out and use my body to block, to trap them in the elevator.
Okay. Yeah. You're just going to roll act under pressure.
Okay. Is that a plus?
Plus
cool?
Cool.
Okay.
You're cool as hell.
Try to get these. Oh no!
Come on!
No!
Nope, not even.
Come on!
No!
And I just so you know, I use, if I ever roll a cocked die, like if one is like falls off the table or is partially up, I'll re-roll. And I was feeling a little bit bad about it because they weren't going to be great rolls, but the one that I am officially reporting was a full snake eyes. So we had a 4, so that is
fail.
not a success.
Okay, so the way that it happens, when you roll act under pressure and fail, the way that the game describes the outcome is that all hell breaks loose. So the way that I see this happening is Puck runs forward, and the guards reflexively raise their rifles and pull the trigger. At this point, the one who has been struggling with the sword has fallen into the back of the elevator and freed his foot and is firing from the back. The other one is just taking aim. 2 reduced void bolts ricochet off of Puck. But they slow him down enough that when he gets to Tag, he stumbles a bit. And when he grabs him and pulls, the barrier does not give way. And you actually just fall backwards and rip Tag's pants off of him. You fall like a tree that's just been felled because you're a very large crystalline creature and crash back down. They've now approached the barrier, know that they can shoot through it, and you guys all see a hand appear from where Shavana just was with a void blaster pointed right at Tag's head. And she says, loud enough for you to hear, though it is muffled by the barrier, "This is where we negotiate our terms, yes?"
Yes.
Oh, brother. Yeah, you know, the thing is, I feel like we started this in dialogue, or at least with a window to dialogue, and if I remember, weren't you the one who started shooting?
I feel that it's going to really put a damp blanket on the situation if we start casting blame. And she gestures behind you to the place where the ghost is still flying around. That looks exactly like her.
I say, fuck, shit, it's the ghosts! Is it 2 ghosts, or is it the same ghost from before? I don't have a good facial memory for ghosts.
She says, there's a few too many layers for anyone to get a clear picture of who started all this, so I'm willing to let it be a non-issue so that we can address where we're at right now.
I told you this place was haunted.
That you did, Summoner. That you did.
All right, how about this? I'll start the negotiations. You give us control of the ship and let us go to the fire planet, and you guys get on your little ship and go away.
As they're thinking about it, Tag, his upper half of his body still in the elevator, muffled a little bit by the barrier, just looks up at the guards and says, "Look, I recognize this is a complicated situation for everybody. I just appreciate you guys taking the time to to really sit down with us and think this one through. I'm optimistic we're all going to find a solution that benefits us.
One of them looks down. One of them looks down at you, not the guy that you stabbed in the foot. He's just like teeth grit, leaning against the wall, all weight on other leg, like really trying to keep his shit together. But the guy who you're talking to looks down at you and goes, "This is some crazy shit."
Oh yeah, this is. Well, it's about par for the course for the last week or so for us, but I suppose if I were to step out from that lens and examine it, yeah, it's crazy shit.
As this little sidebar concludes, there's no response from the elevator, but you do see that this Shavanaugh ghost dissipates. And there are several injured guards behind you, but there are a few who look okay. The injured do not seem to be reinstating themselves into this situation, but there are two who approach behind. They are holding void blasters, and they are behind you. Shavanaugh says, "You're putting me in a really difficult situation. I was hoping you'd open with maybe surrender, but your terms are not unreasonable. I need to get to my ship. Perhaps it would be better for all of us if there was a little bit of time to cool down. If I could just return to my dropship, I think that would put us in a place where I would feel comfortable negotiating with you further."
I'd like to employ Tag's telepathy and see if I can read her thoughts and see whether there's any trick here.
Sure, roll it. It's plus or is it just a telepathy?
It's just telepathy, but I'd be happy to. It's a roll plus weird if I'm trying to realign their thoughts. I guess this would be tune in because I want to get specific information from it.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's better.
So we'll
I
call
think
it
telepathy is more of a conversational thing. You trying to infiltrate an enemy's mind would be a tune in.
Okay, that'll be a 9.
Okay. You get to hold one question. Ask away, my dude.
I think the question is, and we're going a little off script, so Monster of the Week gives us 4 questions that are all kind of, what is the creature going to attack next, stuff like that.
Sure.
I might tweak it a bit, but I think, what is it planning to do right now is where I'm going to go.
Sure. You get the impression that this dropship she's talking about is a means to an end. That she just doesn't want to get to this dropship. She wants to use it to get somewhere else.
Well, yeah. I mean, ship's got to go somewhere.
The other ship.
Right. So it seems like she's going to get on that ship, and she feels that being in the place that she's planning to go will put her in control of the situation. That is how she is looking at it. Getting where she needs to go will put her in control of the situation.
And a game clarification, she's going to Seraph, her sister ship, next to Haven, or she's asking just to go to a little transport pod?
Right now, she's just vocalized going to the transport pod, but you know that she wants to use it to leave. That she's not going to go in there and sit in the seat and like have a sandwich and a cigarette. Like, she's jumping in that ship to get the fuck out of here.
So, if I understand this correctly, your negotiation is you're going to just give us the ship and leave? Look, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that seems like you're kind of just giving us everything we asked for. And I suppose it makes me think if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
I'm no fool. I have most of my men in that hangar bay, and it seems like most of my men are not responding. So if I need to give more than I prefer in order to ensure the safety of myself and my remaining crew, I'm willing to entertain the idea. I would like to continue speaking to you, but if this is where we're at right now, I'm no fool. I'd like to walk away from this.
Well, Yeah, I'm not really in a position to have a huddle with the rest of the folks, but seems amenable to me. I shout through the glass. What? What's up? We letting her go, or also, why does it feel like there's a breeze around my legs?
Sorry.
Sorry for what? What's wrong?
I hold up Tag's pants.
Can I? Is this an opaque or a translucent barrier? Can I see?
You can see through it. Yeah, it's like a tinted pink force
Oh, okay.
field that is completely
I see.
visible.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You were trying. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's still strange for me. I too do not wear pants.
Huh? Do you want to try to put them back on, or is that going to be tough?
Well, I seem to be making the people in the elevator a little bit nervous. So
They're
I figured
fidgeting with their guns.
if I came closer, they might accidentally get a little too squeezy, and
Yeah.
then you might.
No, I'm good with. I'm fine. I'll put on pants later. It's okay. Thank you.
So
You guys, as a party, have a decision right now, but it will be up to you. Shavanah's proposal is that she will leave this ship if you allow her to. She will be taking her crew as well.
Yeah. Get her out. I don't know. Let's hear from our summoner and our bruiser. I feel like your silence says perhaps you're not buying it.
I'd like this to be in game because Rex is in a difficult position, and I do not want Trin to have the opportunity to assist her character.
Good call.
I had initially lowered my one void blaster to my side, but I raise it back up and point it at Shavanah, and I say, "Get the hell out of here."
That was very nervous being the party member with half a body in the elevator. I'm sweating.
You let him go, and we will let you go.
You can just see her hand pointing the gun at Tag and her face as she's leaned around the corner. It's a very slim view of her profile. And she says, "The moment this barrier is dropped, we are on our way."
My necklace is starting to get really hot, and I reach and I grab it, and I am filled with this like overwhelming need to get to the fire planet, and I start having it feels like fire is coursing through my veins, and I'm like, I'm out of time. Like, we have to go. And so I look at Shavanah, and I say, "Get out of here. Don't come back. All right?"
She shrugs. She shrugs innocent.
I don't want to throw a wrench in the works. I try to whisper loudly to whoever's nearest to me. I don't trust her. I don't trust her even a little bit.
I look back and I say, "I don't either, but we just need to buy enough time to turn the ship around."
Yeah, but if they come after us in the other ship, we may not make it to the fire planet.
Ah, damn it.
Then we take the boy jumper.
I don't know if it's an interplanetary vessel. Either way,
he's got a point. The void jumper can punch a hole through these barriers and get us to the planet, but especially if we've just stolen the ship, there's no way for us to get back out.
how about this? We have them take residence in the brig. We go to the fire planet. Once we're at the fire planet, then we release them on their ship.
Shavanah, you're saying this out loud?
But with my hand up, because I'm whispering.
But how quiet are you?
Oh, Puck is probably not particularly quiet.
She says, "I cannot make that decision on my own. I will need to contact my vessel in order to get authorization to do so."
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Then I need to leave now. I've given you my offer. You can accept it or not. But if you do not, I'm going to kill this man.
Okay, well, I'll take that as an opportunity to offer my opinion on the situation. I recognize I have a bias that might be a little more individualistic than the groups, but it seems like, I guess I think, well, we've gotten ourselves out of scrapes in the past. She's obviously, and I look up, no offense, lady, but obviously you're full of shit and you're going to come after us with a fury. But I feel like, something, the longer we stay a team, something's going to be chasing us inevitably. So might as well deal with the problem we got in front of us. And then,
Question.
she'll take a number.
Is Shavana still kind of wedged in the side of the elevator, like
Yeah.
kind of out of the eye line? I would like to.
Yeah, do it, baby. I love what's happening. Do it.
I'd like to head over to her ship.
Okay. Yeah, sure. There's a couple guys in the way. We're going to say there's the 3 security who survived the ghost encounter. They are standing between you and it. They are holding void blasters, the little pistols that have been used. As soon as you stand up and start making your way over there, Shavana says, "Do not let that creature go." And they raise their pistols at you, but their hands are trembling.
Fellas, I know this is your job, but you're clearly outmatched here. We've got a dinosaur. We've got a summoner. This guy doesn't even need pants. This guy's he's crazy. We have no idea what he might do.
That guy is crazy.
We already know that your guns don't even work on me. And I don't want to hurt you guys at all. So if you want, I can try to make it look good, and you guys can try to wrestle with me or something like that. But I'd really prefer not to kill anybody today. I mean,
There is no answer, but instead of shooting you, they pass a side glance, and then the first guy just goes, "Ah!" and just runs at you, and then the other 2 catch on a little late, and so now you've just got these 3 guys who are charging you, looking you right in the eye, like, "Ah!"
Okay. I bear hug him.
That is what I was hoping you would do.
And I go, breaking sounds. Then I kind of gently throw them to the ground, but kind of roll down as well,
Sure. Roll act under pressure real quick.
This is some WWE shit.
That's a treat.
Oh, and I get to add plus cool?
Yes.
11.
Excellent.
Nice.
You nail it,
Yay!
but it happens as you described it. So basically what I was making you roll for was to make sure nobody actually got hurt. You do not harm these guys. They are very gracious, and they all faint, onto the ground. But Shavana does yell into the hangar bay, "This is pathetic!" The way to her vessel is now clear, however.
Okay, I'm gonna march over to the ship. Is there an entrance?
Yeah, it's locked up, but there is a definite door.
No, clicker or anything like that.
I guess it would be plugged into a device that would be part of its docking protocol, and so there would be a way for technicians to gain access to the ship. It is human-sized.
Uh-oh.
Now, let's get a picture here. It's human-sized in a prohibitive way, or it's human-sized in a really comically endearing way that he would have to,
Mostly the second options, but a little of the first. It looks like a little Texas Instruments calculator on a pole, and It's there for you. You've seen
Wait.
these before.
Well, I think Puck is of the sort who hasn't fully thought through what he's going to do, and he's ready to put his head through the fence whether or not he can get it back out again. So,
All right. We're going to cut back to Bryn as Puck rubs his hands together and crouches down in front of this little instrument and prepares to start pushing buttons. But Bryn, Rex, where are you at right now? Stuff's kind of happening around you. I want to make sure you get a chance to like operate within these beats. You've seen a little WWE. You've seen Puck just turn around and then go over to the Shavanaz dropship.
I want to heal Tag.
Sure. You got a healing spell, so just roll. Or there's just some potential consequences. Why I'm making you do it.
I got a 7. Thank God.
My girl.
7? All right, cool. So you can heal 2 or stabilize. I believe healing 2 would do both of these things in this instance. Correct, Tag? You are at 5 harm?
I'm at 5 harm, yeah. I thought that I had to make a choice, but that's a rules thing. I don't know.
It's it's the caster's choice. Whoever rolls the dice gets to, yeah. So if you heal 2, he would be healed 2 and stabilized. There's no reason to make you choose. That would be like the default option.
Okay.
The option, just in case we need to adjust this later, the option to do that would come as if he's 1 point away from death, you can stabilize him, but he will still be 1 point away from death. If you were to heal him 2 points, he would be 3 points away from death, but he would still be unstable. So it becomes more pressing the more injured he is. Right now, it's kind of like a gimme. You just give him a little juice. It should be noted, though, this is the third spell, significant spell you've cast besides closing the book. You've manufactured a ghost, and you've put up a barrier, and you've healed him. And in each instance, the ghost is the wild card because I don't think you knew what was going to happen when you did that. But with the barrier and with the healing spell, they did not go as intended. The barrier caught Tag in between and would not allow him to leave. And this healing spell did not do what you know it could do, which is a little bit of extra juice. And the way that I would describe that to your character is that here in space, on this ship, far removed from the planets, because you've already tapped your necklace and kind of destroyed it, and what it is now is a remnant of what it was. You've harnessed powers from relics before, but here in space, you're having trouble accessing that flow of energy. And I think that's why your spells, we would decide why your spells are going wrong. You're not on a planet, and you don't have those generators of superpower to just dip into whenever you please as a summoner. And so here in the fringes, I think it's starting to become apparent to you that you're a little bit more vulnerable than you would be on the planet when you can have all of this power at your fingertips. You're not helpless. You're able to do magic, but you're almost pulling more from your own power than this boost outside. You haven't done much time in space, so I just wanted to take a second to address it. So you heal Tag. He's healed 2 and stabilized. You can feel your ribs. The pressure is released, and it's no longer pinching from where you were shot by the big rifle. Rex, what's the action?
I'm going to sidestep to try and get closer to the elevator, but more out of line of sight of anyone in there who could fire on me.
Sure. Nobody on your side of the barrier is fucking with you guys anymore, so your movement is unimpeded.
Right.
The guards are tracking you with their rifles, but they don't seem super confident about firing from inside this place.
And they've got some brains. At least a little bit of brains. And I say, give it up, Shavanaz. You can kill him, but then you would be unleashing the fury of a summoner, a trained problem solver, and whatever that giant thing is. So if you really think you've got what it takes to stand against all 3 of us, you've lost control of this ship. Surrender now.
I have definitely lost control of this ship, Rex. I don't think I could stand against all of you. I think I could easily kill the man who's in here, and I don't think that's an outcome anybody wants. But the power I would be unleashing would be from a summoner's heir. Her mother is, unless you go save her ass, locked on the fire planet. And a problem solver who we had no problem throwing in jail one time. I want to leave, Rex. I'm surrendering, but I will not stay in your custody. I also can't leave this elevator until this magical barrier's dropped. So I'm at a stalemate here. I'm trying to say, you want the ship? It's yours. You won. But
I'd
I'm
like to
not
remind you that I submitted quietly because you were my superior officer, and I was deferring to your authority. But now I can see that your authority.
Note of that in your file, Rex.
Wonderful. I look forward to that hearing. But I think we can all see that your authority is meaningless because you were a terrible leader.
Oh.
You have lost control of this ship because you don't know how to lead. There's a reason your guards aren't being summoned to fight to their death against us. Because we've all seen how empty you are. You are in our custody.
As she's speaking, I just slowly try to inch myself onto the other side of the
Yeah, if she's stuck behind the barrier, can we just leave her there?
Technically, yeah. What happens when you give this speech? I will let you make that decision, but the reaction that they have in the elevator to this speech is that the guy with the injured foot lowers his weapon and sinks down to the ground. His companion looks confused and lowers his rifle and says to Shavana, but the only person who can really hear it because it's very low is Tag. He says, "Boss, I don't like our odds." Shavana raises her pistol and shoots the injured guard in the head and says, "Put the gun up, please." And the other guard turns and points the weapon towards you.
Oh, God.
Oh.
She says, I think we've discussed this enough. So, the bloodlust is taking me. We could say I'm about to start acting irrationally because I feel like I've been backed into a corner. You know what I'd like to do. You can decide how to handle that. Tag, you are able and have been inching out of this thing. You're not free yet. You guys have a barrier up. If you want to entertain the idea of using it as a prison cell, Bryn will need to augment the spell because as written, it takes concentration to cast and maintain. So she can leave it up for a while, but not permanently. The reason she was able to heal Tag while having the barrier up is because the way that it's based on a class that is using learned spells instead of just use magic. And so she's got two spells that she can kind of interchange. She starts trying to do anything else magical, that barrier is going to either require a check to stay up or it's just going to drop. But if you'd like to augment it, I think that we could use big magic to turn it into a prison cell. That being said, you're going to have some problems because Tag's still half in, half out. That could be remedied. And the lift is the only lift that goes out of the shuttle bay.
Yeah.
But you do...
There's no stairs? We can't take the stairs upstairs?
There is no stairs, but Matt Vansel, the captain of this vessel...
Oh, you mean Captain Matt Vansel?
Captain Matt Vansel.
Do we get vents again? Because we're so good with vents.
He does say...
Captain Matt Vansel, the vessel captain.
He says, if you guys are worried about getting upstairs, the server room is an open chamber that spans all 3 floors.
We cut to him. He's just in the back of this whole scene eating a pear with some cheese on it still. He's got like a little baby plate with him just munching.
Yeah. It's like an existential crisis snack time. He's not kicking it, but he is back there eating a little bug juice pear cheese.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you don't have to explain existential snack time to anyone here in July of 2020. I think we get it.
Just stuffing handfuls of food into our faces.
So the way I'll put it is this. If you want to turn this elevator into a prison cell, it's going to require two steps. The first step is getting Tag out. The second is turning the shield into a prison cell. So if that's the way you want to rock, we can start rolling that way now.
Yeah, I would like to. I noticed that Tag is inching a little bit out, and I can kind of see what he wants to do. I'm gonna ask.
Pantsless
I'm gonna talk to
Tag.
Shavana.
Pantsless Tag.
Sure. And she seems to be distracted because she did just shoot one of her own men, and her other one was on the verge of giving up. So she is very much in tune with the other person with a gun inside the elevator right now. So she is distracted. So you guys will have a little bit of wiggle room. She's not looking at Tag.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Rex, and I'm gonna say, or I'm gonna whisper. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna buy time, and I'm gonna kind of approach the barrier from the other side, and I'm gonna say, Madam Shavana,
Yes.
what? If I could ask, what planet are you from?
Well, this is weird, but since you asked, I was born on a moon that orbits the Void Planet.
Oh, that's cool. I'm like a moon baby too. What's up?
What's up?
What's up? I don't know. What do you mean? What's up? Are you gonna shoot me? That's
Okay, while they're talking, I am like inching closer because I'm going to try and dive and grab these bare ankles
right.
Sure.
and just like yank them out.
Simple. Act under pressure. Roll plus cool.
Come on,
Remember, if
dice.
anything goes wrong, you and I are a great duo when it comes to assisting with cool rolls.
7!
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So,
It's not
You
a total
can't-
failure.
because it's not a total failure, you lunge forward and you pull Tag out. But what you notice is the barrier remains in the half circle of his body and is slowly closing. And the Shavana and the trooper recognize this, and she drops, he follows her lead, and they both are about to fire out of the hole that was just created. And they are again aiming at Bryn.
How big's the hole? Like, that big?
Yeah. Tag waist size.
That's don't just parade that in front of the internet, okay? A lot of
No,
moonberry pies, but my body, I love my body.
We love it too.
Great.
I look behind me and I see the book that I had originally taken from the library, and I'm gonna shove it in that hole.
Okay. Roll act under pressure.
Oh boy. What do I get for that? Plus cool,
Plus cool.
which is not a lot. Oh, a 10. Phew.
Okay, cool. The book explodes in your hand as you cover the hole. You are blown backwards, but the enchanted pages absorb any damage you would have taken. You are, however, knocked back onto your bottom. And you guys see the barrier shimmer as though it is going to drop before Bryn regains control, and the hole that was created closes. They fire again through the barrier, but the bolts go wide. One of them bounces off Puck, and they are now kind of kneeling angrily on the floor of the elevator. You've now saved Tag. So if you would like to turn this into a prison cell, I think it's going to be big magic.
Can I use Tag and our connection to help me out with it?
Sure. I think that you can just tell me the effect you want is to trap a specific person, minion, or monster. And so that's easy. It's not going to take a long time. At your disposal, you have 2 magic users, a void elemental, and 2 summoner staffs. So I think you're just going to be rolling use magic. And basically, you're going to be finding out for how long you can keep this spell up without being directly involved.
And what happens if we go upstairs? Oh, he can lock us in upstairs, but we need to make sure that they can't get to their ship. while we're upstairs, correct? And
Right.
Puck is doing something with that.
We could destroy their ship.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
Okay,
to
so I
start, just
need to
roll
keep-
plus weird.
Me?
Yeah, you're casting it.
All right. A 9.
Cool. Tell me how you do it. And remember, it feels like you're really having to look for power, especially for something like big magic.
Well, basically, I just want to make this. I'm just closing off the elevator, correct? That's what I'm doing, basically.
The way that
Lock
I was
us in the
envisioning it
elevator.
was like furthering this wall into a cone that would then, like a zone of silence. Like you're like just making a prison capsule with
the
force field.
barrier, with the existing barrier. Yeah, I mean, I would like to take the barrier, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the F can I pull from this ship? And I see a bunch of steel rods. So I'm like, well, tap into that. And so I'm trying to take some of the steel material and funnel it through my staff, and then I aim it over to the barrier and start snaking it through the barrier. So it starts becoming the steel enforced barrier, but before it was mostly kind of earth-based. And it's going to come around to where it blocks the elevator buttons, so they can't push those. And it's going to pin them up against the back of the elevator. And I will have it also come up and close off the top so that they don't crawl up the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. With a 7 to 9, you're going to not have a permanent structure.
Okay.
And what that's going to require is before you, after an elapsed amount of time, like figure like every day, you're going to need to interact with this thing in order to keep it stable. But you know that with a partial success, that the cell is complete. So they are trapped. As long as you are willing to maintain this thing, it will stay up. But that is one of the costs that you get on a partial success.
Do they have oxygen, though? I really don't want to suffocate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hope. Did you poke holes in the lid of the jar?
Maybe. I mean, I thought about it, but then I don't want them to shoot through it.
They can breathe. They're fine, probably. Okay, so here's where we stand. Captain Matt Vansel steps forward and says, well, that was insane. It looks like we own the ship now. If you do want to get to the fire planet, we're going to need to go to the bridge, and we're going to need to address the escort that we have right now. But I can start us that direction as long as we can get to the bridge. And he leads you, as he's saying this, to the nose of the ship, where there is a security door, and he uses his key card, and it opens.
Before we pop in here, I just want to take a second with Puck, if I can.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Oh, samesies? Okay. Just as Vansel's talking and I'm kind of shuffling my pants back on, I'm like doing the 1 foot hop, covering some ground to get over to Puck, and I kind of lean, hand on the roof of the car or whatever the thing is, and I'm like, hey, Tag, we met a little bit before. It was a lot of stuff was happening.
Yeah, I'm Puck.
Puck, yeah, hey man, hey, nice to see you. Thanks for you trying to help me out before.
Yeah, thanks for rescuing me from the jail.
Oh yeah, no worries. So it looks like we've got them caged up. What's the plan here with their boat?
Well,
I have also walked over to where they are, and I'm listening in.
Well, Jesse, during that time, what was I able to? What type of interface am I dealing with?
I think that this thing could open it up, let you inside, move the ship, give you remote access to it. These are all company vessels, and so this interface is designed to sync them in the same way that like Apple's hooking iPhones and iPads and Macs books all together. So like they are talking to each other. Once it's synced and Shavna authorized it, the crew would have access to maintain her ship in any way. So what do you want to do with the ship?
Well, now that I hear that you guys have trapped them, you know, we don't have to get too clever with it. I was just going to disable their communications so that if they did get on the ship and they left, it would still give us time to get away before they alerted the other ship. But that seems unnecessary now. So perhaps instead we can just wrangle up these guards, put them in the brig, and then make our way to the bridge. You hear that, boy?
Great.
And I say that's a great suggestion. I would like to take a look at their comms before we get started because we weren't able to send any messages from this ship, and I don't know if if Shavna had more advanced capabilities on board.
Yeah, send any messages. This is just me asking. Send any messages to who?
I would like to first message Miss Kale, and second try and send a message to the Fire Planet Bryn's mom, whose name I've forgotten.
Amelia.
Sure, yeah. So I think that Puck is adorably poised over this, ready to start smashing buttons, and Rex gently decides to be the one with the appropriately sized fingers to use this machine that you know how to make. And the door hisses open on her dropship. It is the Vader ship, like it is the supervillain version of the limo that you took down there. There are like weapon slots next to every single seat in the back, and they all contain a rifle like you saw that the big guards were carrying. There's a couple extra sets of armor that the big guards were wearing. And then in front, there is a cockpit that just has what you recognize as a lot more controls that deal with defenses and offensive capabilities than the diplomatic vessel you took. Everything's fucking neon, like purple plush seats and shit. There's some fuzzy dice hanging off of the rearview mirror. But other than that, it's a ship that you recognize and know how to use. So their comms are in the co-pilot's section of the front, and you're able to jump on and dial up. Who would you like to call first, Fire Planet or Miss Kale?
I would like to call... Are the other two in the ship with me, I guess is the question.
I don't need to be. If you would like to have a private moment, I could well excuse that Tag just joins the rest of the group going off.
I think I'm sitting here trying to focus on keeping this barrier strong.
What's Puck doing?
Well,
it doesn't have to be a private moment. I'm just, I'm curious.
What do you got an idea, Twin Miller? I want to know what it is. Sorry,
Yeah.
Casey, I just talked right over you.
so it's okay. I pulled off your pants by accident. It's going to be a while before I live that down.
Oh, I feel like that's probably more embarrassing for me than you.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad you wore undies today.
We cut down inexplicably in this futuristic space opera. It's like reindeer boxers with a bright nose on them.
I guess I will go wrangle up the remaining guards that I've done some wrestling with and let them know that they will be treated fairly and will be...
Well, before you wrangle up the guards, I would like to make... Puck, I don't disagree that we fought against these people. But I also work with them. And I know that for many of them, their hearts are in the right place. I know it's futile to say they were only following orders, but they were. And I don't believe that all of them are irredeemable. And if we decide that we can't trust all of them, and I'm saying this in front of all of the guards loudly
Sure.
enough for them to
Sure.
hear me. And I say, I know many of them were just trying to do their jobs. And if we decide that we can't trust them to continue to do those jobs, I understand, and I will defer to what the group decides. But these people are not Shabana.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but they shot Tag twice, and they tried to shoot Bryn, and they definitely shot me more than one time. And I'm sure they're all very nice people, and I'm not saying I don't trust them. I'm just saying that, until we escape, and maybe they could stay in there where they put you just long enough for us to get away, and then who knows?
You see, as this conversation is happening in full view of the guards, they've been kind of limping over from all the different parts of the hangar that Puck smacked them into. And there's a few that are still armed, and they've all grouped up. And during the course of this, especially during what Rex was saying and kind of the reluctance Puck is having to agree, they've all set their weapons on the ground and are now all they've all sat one by one. They're just kind of sitting next to each other on the ground. They've not kicked their weapons towards you, but they've all made it very clear that they've set them on the ground in front and are just kind of like present and recognizing that their fate has not been decided. And they're not willing to really go into it unarmed, but they are, for the moment, regrouping and just like sitting.
And I turn towards them and I say, things are uncertain right now. I do know that many of you do not actually wish us harm. I do not wish you harm. None of us wish you any harm. Well, and in my head, I'm just like, well, maybe that's not quite true, but I'm just going to power through this speech. I believe that you can do good work and that you are good people. We can't trust you right now.
Roll manipulate someone.
Okay. What do I add to that?
That is charm.
My negative. That is a 7.
Okay. They don't kick their guns over, but it seems like there's a general consensus in the group in which they are nodding, like, hey, this is Rex, like I know Rex from way back, like there's like this agreement that nothing is going to be decided until something gets decided.
And I just finish up and say to them, I can promise you that we will treat you fairly and justly, and that no harm will come to you if you do not seek to harm us.
Okay, yeah, they seem cool. There's no beef. They know what's up.
And I turn back to Puck and I say, I understand if you still think it's necessary to put them in the brig, and I will not fight you on that.
I'm just trying to help out. They're no threat to me. I just don't want you guys to get shot.
Again.
I mean, it's, we had cheeseburgers when we were there. I turned to the guards. I'm like, it's not that bad, and it's not forever. And it seems like, you definitely were all put in a pickle, and this seems like I could be wrong. Tag, what do you think?
I'm just like kind of it's a bit of an archaic tunic that I'm wearing. It's like one of those bras that you can put in 7 different ways. And I'm kind of trying to like rehitch all these different straps. And I look at him and I say, oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever. I think
all right, we have
don't shoot me again, but whatever.
We have one vote for whatever. Bryn, what do you think?
Am I there? I thought. Wait, what?
Oh, are you full concentration on the chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she was walking off with the captain too, so. It's just the three of us.
Oh, it's just the three of us. Well, yeah, I mean, it just seems like it would probably be best that, in terms of Shavanah maybe being able to influence one of them out here to then, maybe harm Bryn in a way that prevents the field from staying up, and then Shavanah,
Let me step outside of character for just a second and see if I can help frame what our intentions are in this moment. I don't want to problem solve out of character. Well, let's keep that in the scenes. But it seems like what we're trying to do is steal this ship with everyone on it, including Shavanah. And go to the Fire Planet. And the question right now is, do we lock everybody up and just roam free, or do we try to enlist these grunts, so to speak, to be on our side? Is that correct?
It sounds accurate to me.
If I think if Rex is about to do the crazy shit that I think she's about to try, there's a chance resolution to this brig no brig query will happen, and if not, we can redress it. For now, I say Puck as he's speaking, he is pacing in front of these guards, and their guns are one by one like magnetizing to his legs. And it's almost like he knows that's happening, but is acting surprised as he's going around and collecting all of their weapons. And then takes a very imposing position to keep an eye on them as Rex. They are now unarmed. Puck is covered from the waist down in blasters.
You're wearing gun pants.
You're wearing gun pants. And Rex is able to put this on pause to step back into Shavanah's ship and address the comms. You mentioned so briefly we had a chat that I was not helpful about at the beginning before we started, when you were like, "Hey, I think I'd like to introduce a character," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever, do whatever you want." Now we are, so we gotta have to figure it out. And I think it would be great because I don't have any ideas, and I'd be interested in yours.
I don't have any ideas either.
That's okay. We're gonna find them right now. I think we're gonna force ourselves to make a couple quick decisions.
Yeah.
You sit down to dial this number, which was given to you by this person, and the what's the thing when you have to do the number to get to a certain part of a office?
Extension.
The extension. The extension is a number nobody fucking calls. This was given to you with the explicit restriction that it cannot be written down. If anybody else has it, we will know that you gave it to them because this number was supplied to you for emergencies and has a Rex digit in it that will let them know you are either calling or have provided the number to somebody, and you were to commit it to memory if you ever needed to have it. This happened, I think, in a closed room. And I'd like the scene where we see that happen. We're going to have a flashback as you hover over this comm, and you're typing this number one digit at a time into this vid screen. And I think it's a number you've never called. And we cut back in time to an office in the company's headquarters. The view's great, and you can tell that you're near the top of the tower, but you're not on the top floor. It's the first time you've ever been above the 40th floor, and you had to get on a second elevator to get here. This is immediately following a mission. You've just had enough time to use a company locker room in this facility to make yourself presentable, and you're wearing company-provided casual wear. You check your breath, and you approach a door that slides open for you. There is an artificial intelligence receptionist stationed in the room. And hello. As you approach, you realize it is a hologram being projected from several different projectors. And they say, "Problem solver Rex. Right on time. Miss Kale will see you now." And she ushers you towards a door. And as she moves across the room, she blinks out and comes back in these new places where the projectors tilt to kind of keep her going, and she's hopping forward, and you're brought into a room. And I think that we meet Miss Kale, but I want you to tell me what she looks like.
Oh. I think the first word that anyone would use to describe Miss Kale is severe. She's all sharp angles, and she's meticulous. Every button is buttoned. Her collar is stiff and starched. Her hair is in, like one of those ballerina perfect buns. And she's sitting straight up in a chair that, it feels like you're approaching a throne room, even though it's an office chair in a very imposing office. But she has an air of regalness about her.
On the desk, there is nothing. There is a vid screen receiver, and that is it. There are no filing cabinets in this room. There are no tables. There is no clutter. There is no paper. There is no trace of any work that gets done. The light is dim and stronger in a small, tight circle around this very large, regal-looking desk. As you enter the room, Miss Kale is just sitting there expecting you. And she holds up a finger and beckons you to come over. You approach, and as you sit down, she focuses onto the vid screen and says, "Summoner, I apologize. I have another meeting that I need to attend to, but I will call you on your home line as soon as I wrap this up."
And internally, I'm just like, she's shutting down a conversation with a summoner to talk to me, and I'm just like...
You hear a voice on the other line, one you don't recognize. They seem to be distracted and say, yeah, of course, Gail, of course. And then, unceremoniously, that line is cut. And Miss Kale says, "Please, Rex, sit down. I know that we haven't had the pleasure, but unavoidably, I've been following your most recent stint here. It seems that the commanders that you've been assigned to have nothing but good things to say. You can keep a secret, which I value."
I'm glad to hear that those are the reports. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard many things about you as well.
I think that you came to this office off of a dropship that landed and was cleared from orbit and was put onto a pad in the field outside this tower where they land shuttles, and were then ushered in very quickly. You're coming right off of a mission, and it was very dangerous. I think your arm is broken, but you have not had it set yet, so you are cradling it. You've just successfully made it out of a company research facility on a backwater moon where they've asked you to obtain several different assets. They've been described as experimental. The boxes that they were in were locked and sealed and not transparent. You were not told what they were, and you were not told what the company wanted them for. You were told that forces had taken over the base and that you were needed to go in and steal these things. And I think you're coming right off of this. And she says, "You've done excellent work, Rex, and I've read the brief while I was waiting for you. Did you look in the boxes?"
Of course not.
Excellent. What you recovered was a weapon. It's something we feel could be very powerful in a large-scale engagement, something that we haven't seen in a long time, not since the wars on the Fire Planet. But we feel that were there to be any significant resistance to our objectives in certain places, the weapon inside the box could decimate a large number of troops. And the direction we could point this thing would make it very easy for us to protect our own forces. We haven't quite gotten that part down yet, so we were running some tests some people disagreed with, and That's why you had to step in. Anyways, I digress. I'm just excited about the project, and I'm happy that you salvaged it. I have another sensitive mission I'd like to put you on. I'd like to be straightforward with you because I feel that you are going to be able to capitalize on this. We'd like to groom you for management. And
I try not to let anything betray, but in my head, I just kind of snort a little bit because anybody who interacts with me on a daily basis would be like, this girl's not management. She can't even like feed herself without spilling everywhere.
she recognizes the smirk. You see that she's not looking at anything else. You've been in executives' offices before. They're cluttered, they're busy, they're distracted constantly. She doesn't seem to have anything else in this world to do except talk to you. She takes that look and she says, I can see what you're thinking. And you are wondering how a grunt, to put it so bluntly, could be promoted to a place in which company secrets and big decisions need to be upheld. And I think that what I've identified as one of your greatest strengths is an ability for you to relate to the people who serve under you. And you do so by demonstrating courage isn't the right word. Loyalty isn't even the right word, though your record is impeccable. You're relatable. And I think that that's very important. Anyway, we're going to tag you to a detail that's just a babysitting operation, and you're going to be taking a summoner down to a planet. I'd really like nothing to happen to her, because I'm trying to build a bridge to the mining operations, which have had a bit of a hang-up on the Fire Planet. So we're going to put you on this detail, and you're going to be working directly under Shavanah. And I would like you to report anything to me which seems unbecoming.
Sorry, what do you mean by unbecoming?
We're going to be testing some technologies that I feel there is some pushback on. And so there is a board whom I answer to. And there seems to be a split decision in how we should pursue the projects that are entangled with the technology we are sending on this mission. I worry that they may have planted the seed of allegiance to one cause or another instead of maintaining a neutrality that would let us just test these things and see what they're truly capable of. So I worry that there is someone who would be more interested in keeping some of these things for themselves in an effort to take control of the situation. Do you understand?
You're worried about someone to take your job?
Not my job, just my stuff, you know? There's so many secrets flying around here. I just want to keep them secret, and I feel like you're the person to do it.
I appreciate your trust in me. I will try hard not to do anything that would change that.
Excellent. The scene starts to fade out as she gives you the number you are dialing now and tells you all the things that you're not allowed to do with it. But the line goes through, and your call to Kale is connected. But we are going to cut to Bryn.
Just outside of the game, I had no idea that was going to happen, and that was cool. All we said at the beginning of the show was like, hey, maybe we want to, and like, I was thinking maybe Shavanah has a boss. I don't know. Might come up. That's all we said.
Okay, Bryn, you're standing at the doorway to the server room. It's kind of the brain of the AI companion that helps run the ship.
Yeah.
Let me just double check my notes here. Because there's a name that I liked. I think it's Darla? Darla!
Darla! Oh.
She was a bad lady in Angel. I guess she got kind of good later. Did anybody watch that show?
I didn't see enough of it. I love that.
I was thinking The Little Rascals.
Darla!
Yeah.
Darla.
She's so cute.
Gee, that is true.
So the captain waves his card in front of this and says, with the elevator out of commission, the only way that we're going to be able to get up and down is through this chamber. And as you step inside, you can see that it is a semicircle room that is the nose of the ship, and all of the walls are covered in glowing gold computer like towers that have been embedded into it. It just looks like kind of like a retro server room if everything was just tilted vertical instead of horizontal. And it climbs 3 stories tall, and you can see that there are ladders that go up.
There's ladders. Oh, good. Okay, let's climb.
Yeah, you go for it. And you're able to get up to the main deck, which has a separate bank of elevators which can take you to the bridge. But on your way to those elevators, you are approached by...
Oh,
I'd like to. I think if she's leaving this room, I got my eye on that. I'm gonna. If you
You're
don't
going
mind, Lisa,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll come with the summoner.
You see a woman hustling down the hall. One of you saw her earlier. She's the
Oh, I
the
saw her.
archetype.
She was
Yeah.
carrying a little pouch.
Yes, and so she like skids to a halt in front of you and says, "Good Lord, what happened to the ship?
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ghosts!"
It's okay. We sent them back to the beyond.
As far as I know, Tag kind of just like looks knowingly at this lady. He heard in her voice that she's a paranormal believer as well, and he's just like,
She like can't comprehend that and say, "I've heard you summoners can do some powerful things, but ghosts goes beyond anything I would have ever imagined. Look, I was trying to catch you before you went down to the hangar bay. I have something for you." And she holds up that little pouch, and she says,
Curious about it.
"I believe this was left behind for you. I found it in the archives, and I managed to slip it out before Shavana took over as her office, but the professor left this for you."
Oh. Okay, thank you. And smart to not give it to Javana. I would promote you if I could.
Yeah,
Head librarian.
thank you so much. That would mean so much to me. I don't enjoy them being on the ship. Between you and me, I'm interested in the pursuit of knowledge, and it seems like, if anything, the company would prefer to erase it. It seems like things have settled down. There was quite a ruckus downstairs.
There was. For now, it's calmed down a little bit. We're trying to get up to the top, and we're going to change course to the fire planet. So I would say maybe get yourself somewhere safe that you can maybe hang out for a little bit for.
She looks at you.
You can come with us if you want.
She
I'm
looks
a
at you kind of
summoner almost.
and says, "I would prefer to return to the archive. Do you know if Shavana will be returning anytime soon?"
I don't know.
"Yeah, that's the kind of question of the hour."
Yeah, and she did have an office there, so I don't know if she's got stuff that she'll go back to, and I don't know if you're safe there.
Yeah, if you want to pull a prank on her office, I think this is a perfect time. She's definitely locked down in our what's the word? She's friendship bound to us for at least a little bit.
She's just nodding, and she has no idea what you're talking about.
You know what? Actually, any explanation I gave would be even more complicated. We made a tube prison. See, I shouldn't have even said. You know, I'm sure you have more questions and answers now. We used I was halfway in a bear. I stabbed a guy in the foot first, and then Crystal Monster took my pants off.
Oh my gosh. I have a question. Do you ever come across any rare books from the fire planet?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, like young adult fiction, like maybe some detectives who are also best friends and kind of like discovering love at the same time. But not necessarily for each other, but maybe it is for each other, but one directionally, and then they have to solve not only the mystery of the, like haunted locket, but also the mystery of unrequited love.
You read Tough Club?
I love Tough Club.
I love Tough Club. It's a complete collection. I'm only missing one volume because it was accidentally jettisoned when we were. It's a long story, but
Hey, I think you could probably just take a stab at giving me the bullet points, and I'll put it together very similar to what I've done for you.
yes, we do have most of Tough Club, and we do have several rare volumes on the Fire Planet. I can go and compile those for you if you'd like.
I just am looking for something that specifically references the Tyne.
The Tyne. Okay, I've heard of them. Yes, I think that we might be able to find something in the. Yes, and she like leaves immediately, turns around and is like, yeah, yes, and she just like,
Oh, hey, real quick, before you go, where are you from?
me?
Yeah, I just can't
noticed
place your
my-
accent.
Very consistent and identifiable accent.
Yeah,
Why
it's-
question me?
Yeah, it's so regionally specific. That's Lightning Planet or what is that?
To answer your question, I'm from a small village called Huntla that is on the Blight World. And in this moment, you should know that everybody on the Blight World's going to talk like this when you go there.
Cool, yeah, no. I find it very I find it quite nice. Anyway, Tough Club forever. See ya.
Tough Club forever!
Tough Club forever.
And she disappears to the library. Puck, we're going to cut back to you. You are now in the hangar bay by yourself with this group full of guards who are sitting there eyeing you nervously.
With guns bristling from every inch of your pants.
I think to ease the tension, I have one of them go get Sam's deck of cards from the brig and bring it out so we can play some like Crazy Eights or something like that while we wait and figure out what's going to happen.
I love Crazy Eights.
Yeah. You deal them up, everybody's flipping cards. It becomes a pretty casual time. There's this overlay of tension that starts to ebb. As the reality of the situation is, this is far too fucking insane to like even try and worry about right now. So let's just play some Crazy Eights.
Yeah, pretty much. Just try to see if there's, some common ground. I find that, if you got a guy wearing guns for pants, that you never know what might happen.
Make a note that the next time you need to roll in some way to either get these people on your side or convince them to do something, you'll have a +1.
Okay.
For spending the time being real with them.
It wasn't Rex's rousing, emotionally vulnerable and transparent speech. It was Crazy Eights and gun pants.
Well,
you can't account for taste. All right, so we're going to bounce back to Rex. The line opens up, and you hear Miss Kale say, I've given this number out several times, but I never expect anybody to call it. What can I do for you, Rex?
Ma'am, I just needed to let you know that there's been a situation on board Haven, but we have it under control, and we're going to take good care of this ship. But Shavana, she was... Frankly, I don't know what was going on with her, but I think she was trying to seize power for herself.
In this, you're on vid call, and you can see that behind her there is a large porthole, and there is space behind it. And Miss Kale says, "Motherfucker. Okay. I feel like I'm trying to put so many pins back into so many different grenades. Have you been made aware of the situation?"
We just know that you're the first person outside of this ship that we've been able to contact at all.
Sure, yes. I'm on what was a diplomatic mission and has now been turned into a mobile command center. We are picking up pieces as fast as we can, Rex. everything's a bit fluid right now, as you understand. I am not pleased to hear that Shavana has tried to capitalize on this uncertainty. I'm going to field promote you because I'd like to just have as few loose ends as possible. So, I'm fucking Shavana. I'm going to make you an acting executive and put you in charge of Haven. Do you believe that will help you get a handle on the situation?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
We've not heard anything from Shavana, nor from the crew of Seraph. I believe that they would not report to me without her blessing. She's on Haven now?
Yes.
Okay. I will reach out to
I-
Seraph. Yes, sorry.
I feel I need to tell you that there were some altercations, but that she drew a weapon on the summoner and fired directly at the summoner. So we have detained her for the time being.
That's the word I was looking for, not friendship bound. Detained. God damn it, Connor.
Oh, friendship bound sounds like something like magical. I thought you were trying
Sounds
to.
like a Care
I
Bear.
had a hard
It
time
does
with
sound
that,
like a Care
okay?
Bear.
Yeah. God damn it. All right. Sorry. You are having such a great scene. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Kale looks at you and says, Rex, I'm taking a leap here, placing trust in you. I appreciate that you've reached out to me directly. That is what this line is for. There will come a time when all of the variables need to be accounted for. And when all of the cause is laid out and we decide the true consequence of this effect that you've described of Shavana pulling a gun on a summoner and firing, we will need to go through proper proceedings. I imagine there will be a hearing. I imagine you will be called in to testify. That being said, we don't have time for that right now because there are too many things going on. So I am going to field promote you and make you an acting executive and put you in charge of Haven. I will contact Seraph and let them know. I will also request that they remain as an escort to you until the situation at large is resolved. What is your current mission?
Our current mission is to get in touch with the Fire Planet. Our summoner needs to get there as fast as possible.
How did you get off the Void Planet? Sorry, the Bloom Planet.
It's honestly a bit of a blur. It was the creatures that we fought down there are nothing like I have ever seen before. We were lucky to have escaped with our lives.
Has the barrier around that planet dropped?
I believe it has, man.
Interesting. I'll need you to file a report on that in transit to the Fire World. I'm authorizing your mission. If you are able to provide information and let us know how we might continue to drop barriers, I would greatly appreciate it. I do not have time to micromanage you, Rex, so please forgive my curtness. I'm going to allow this to proceed because I have placed a large amount of faith in you. I do not want to regret that.
Oh, at some point, like halfway through this call, I started recording it because I was like, oh, I might need to use a recording of this later. So
Sure.
I
You
did
know
that.
that all communication, the company's big brother, like everything's recorded. You will be able to find this file easily, whether or not you trigger it or not.
Great.
You're saying so you're not just going to the troops being like, yeah, I talked to the big boss and she said I'm in charge now.
Yeah, she's not in charge now, so yeah.
She said it. She said she
Respect my
definitely said it.
authority.
Yes.
What she does is she says, in the captain's chair, there is a panel on the armrest. Go there now.
I do that.
It's right next to you. And you can see that
Beep,
she
boop, 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 beep,
keys something into her screen, you know, and things slides open. And much like you saw in the bridge, there is a small panel where there are slots for 4 of those special key cards, and 1 is missing. You would assume Shavana took it. or had it on her person. And Kale says from the speaker, that card will allow you access to all of Haven's override procedures.
Thank you for trusting me with this mission, ma'am.
Excellent. I have a lot of work to do, Rex. Don't let me down. Kale, out. And she's gone. I knew you were going to fucking do that, Trin. I knew you were going to do that.
Do what?
Something like this.
Is that bad?
No, it's awesome, and I love it. That's why I figured, like, we don't need to figure out this Briggs situation right now. I think Trin's about to go do it, which is the only reason I did a fast pass on that one. All right, cool. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, so...
I feel like I've been taking up a lot of this stream, so I don't want to spend too much more time.
Together. You have a lot of pieces in place to start making
But I do
want
to send a message to, if I can, I probably maybe can't get through the barrier, but I at least want to try to get through the barrier to contact the Fire Planet and let them know the summoner is safe.
You're met with you didn't see it because you weren't in the room with Tag and Bryn, but it is the call. It just isn't going anywhere. There's no one to connect. It's a strange form of, you've seen shit shut down on purpose. You've seen shit like out of order. This is different than that. You cannot reach anybody. Even if you try a couple other planets, nobody. You can see that there's a comm log that you could access other ships like Kale's if there are any other ships about or any other moon bases, but all of the planets are locked. Except Blue.
Cool. That's it.
I'm taking requests at this point for any scenes that you guys would like between any characters in any locations. We're now in a position where we can start to move you towards the Fire Planet, and we can do that at whatever pace you would like. You own Haven. It is now your ship. Seraph has been attached to it to run as your escort, but as it has been described to Rex, they have been given orders from somebody very high up in the company to be an escort on your mission.
I mean, I want to open the bag from the professor.
Sure. Inside, there is a lightning Eric's and a water Eric's.
How big are they?
This is just something that Brian, as the professor, left for you guys in the room, and he wanted it to get to you. You are welcome to do whatever you want with them. But these are items that have been sent your way from the professor.
Are they small?
Yeah, I imagine them as like a good-sized bouncy ball.
So we could eat them.
You could swallow them whole.
Okay.
There's a trophy hazard, but you could swallow them whole.
I could put it in my necklace that is non-functioning right now.
Get the fuck out of here. Tell me more.
Okay. No, I just asked if I could do it. I would like to set it in my necklace because I need to power it back up.
Which one do you want to put in there?
What, it was water and lightning?
Yeah.
Lightning.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Azula.
Ride the lightning.
Lightning and fire. I mean, water would just cancel it out.
Sure. Here's the thing. Like, again, I hadn't even considered that. So I think what we'll say is we can cue a couple actions that will happen in like the jump, in which there will be some assumed space travel. You will get a lightning necklace. That scene would be you going to the workshop, which is on this ship and functions as a like bonus to craft certain items. I think that very differently from the professor, who would be using machines to implant this Erickson there. I think you spend some time guiding the energy from the Erics into the necklace. And I picture it as it filling that slot that had kind of crumpled in metal and expanding it out to be a lightning Eric's now.
I would also like to pull the fragment that's still in there. I always saw the fragment from my original palace that got exploded that was implemented in there as kind of in the middle of that like crumpled metal. I would like to pull that out. I don't know what I want to do with that. I don't know that I want to put it in the Eric's because I don't know what it's going to do in the Eric's and I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to make sure to extract that and put it somewhere safe.
Cool. So you got a crystal that's been pulled aside, and a lightning Eric's necklace that I don't know anything about. So
Me neither.
Cool.
when you want to start using it, we'll figure it out.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, you got it. So make sure you mark it. That's an item like this. If you guys are gonna start doing shit like this, that kind of enters into like relic territory. And so these can be items of power, and I would encourage you to think about using them to perform big asks. If you're like, man, I really want to do this wild thing, here's a battery pack, conceptually, a battery pack that could charge your idea. And it can function in whatever way we decide. I don't think we need to define it right now. So over the course of the space travel, we know that Bryn spends some time in the workshop enchanting an item.
We're on the way to the fire planet.
Yeah, you guys. So the way that it'll work is when it's time and you guys want to go, we are going to, if you remember correctly, Tag put the idea into Nova, the navigator's head, to slow the ship.
Oh yeah.
And
job.
so what will happen is she will head to the same void relay that she was going to before. That relay, instead of taking you guys to the water planet, will take you to the fire planet. If this were a video game, that would be a fast travel point. So we can start hitting the fire planet as soon as you want. Is there any other business or scenes you'd like on Haven in any kind of conclusion or resolution sense of the events that just happened? If not, we can just get into some narration and get you guys on the road.
I have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
After Rex announces that she's taking
What's up?
command
I'm the
of Haven.
captain. I mean, the Captain Van Vansel's still the captain, but I'm in charge.
I'd like to rearm the guards that now work for Rex.
Cool. Her authority is recognized.
Yeah.
And they seem relieved because being in a position where their boss was in a cage and you guys were being tough with them wasn't ideal. Being sanctioned by the company to get back in business, they're all about it. They are armed and they will be NPCs that can function as a tool for you guys on Haven. They will not be going off the ship with you. They would not be authorized to do what you guys are going to do, which is kind of a very special thing. But you now have a team of, there was 12 of them. I don't think everybody made it, Puck. I think you're kind of strong, dude. I think you got 8 guards on your side.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Luke, Mika, Zaza, Fran, Zip, Big Mike, Serioj, and Hank.
Ooh.
Can you repeat that?
Hank got some attitude
Luke,
at the end there. I can tell that
Mika,
Puck is
Zaza,
not with Hank. Hank's got
Fran,
Hank's mouthy, isn't he?
Zip, Big Mike, Serioj, and Hank.
Well done. Well done.
That was impressive.
You know, I'm not mission control, but I'd like to advocate that perhaps Casey get an experience point for that feat.
Absolutely. You can actually, because you're coming in an arc late, you can mark an experience point.
Okay.
Do you guys remember at the beginning of this episode where you rolled 4 fails in a row?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tag can guide the spaceship with his brain now.
By the way,
I gotta. I'm sorry, Lisa. You had the thought. Please go.
Oh, Rex, would you like me to remove the barrier so you can escort Miss Chavanaugh to the jail cell?
Why, yes, I would. But they have to throw their weapons out. Well, they can't. Can you make a little hole in it first for them to push their weapons out?
Yeah, but the last time there was a hole, they tried to shoot me through it.
Here's what I would say. There's no reason for rolls at this point. So I think that the scene goes as planned.
Okay.
She's very resistant to the idea. It takes just seeing Rex's card to realize that the power dynamic has changed. And she does not say a word. But she motions for her partner to drop the gun. She drops
but
hers.
DID
And when the
tag
barrier
acquires
drops,
some new
she
pants. Or clean
goes
his weapons at
to the
all.
brig.
Or did anyone heal? Also
She
cool
doesn't
shirt
look
at K's
scared.
Jackalope.
She looks very angry. And you now have Chavanaugh and 1 guard. who did not offer to join the pack, but really wanted to, now locked in the brig in 2 separate cells.
Cool. I'm ready.
I'd like to have a quick chat with the summoner
Oh.
before we go anywhere.
By all means.
Yeah. Listen, I just wanted to say that when I first got this mission, I knew it was a big honor because you're a summoner and that's important, but I figured you'd just be like a spoiled little princess. And you're tough and you're smart, but you're also really kind. And that's important. So I'm sorry the company has treated you this way. I hope you know that Shabana doesn't represent all of us.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Most people assume that I am a princess and spoiled and awful, and I've worked really hard to try and work against that. Yeah, so it means a lot to me that you recognize that and see that. And I can't imagine doing anything without you by my side now, because you kick ass. You do all the things, all the physical things, and it's really cool to watch. And I'm sorry that you had to see somebody that you looked up to turn out to be a total jerk.
I mean, I know the company is not perfect. There's plenty of other people like her in it, but feels good to get rid of at least one.
Yeah, I get that. What are you going to do with your newfound power?
Eat a lot of ice cream.
Yes. Very cool.
Let's cut to Bryn and Tag back in Bryn's chambers. I think that they initially came in and they picked about at the fruit platter, but at least Tag, it doesn't really have the appetite anymore. We're in transit. We're on the way to the fire planet, and there's just a lull waiting in the travel. And so, what are you afraid of finding when we get there?
I'm afraid that my people will be injured, or worse, they're dead. My mother is pretty good at protecting herself and her people, but from what we saw on Bloom, I don't know that we've seen anything like that. So I just want to make sure that they're okay.
Well, of course, yeah. I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
And I noticed as I'll just say it to her. So when you talk about home, you kind of touch this necklace you have. What is it from? What is that fragment inside it?
When my mother was pregnant with me, there was an attack on our planet, and it was a magical warfare, and it destroyed a lot. It killed my father. It destroyed our palace, and from that we rebuilt. And there was only one fragment left of the original palace, and my mother had it put into a necklace for me, so I could have some piece of
Home.
the place that I was conceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your parents just did that for you because they want you to know where you came from.
My mother did, and I think it's probably a way to feel connected to my father as well.
Is that just a thing with family? You just have a connection? You're bound to each other in a way?
Yeah. I guess so. I guess I just took it for granted because it's just always sort of been there, but it's it's similar to when we open our connection and you know the other person is there even though you don't say anything, and you can just feel them
Uh-huh.
as like a sixth sense. It's kind of like that. You're just, but it's always open. You don't ever have to open it. It's just always open. And when I received that message from my mother and I've tried to reach out and feel for her, I couldn't feel anything. And that's the first time I've ever felt that. So I'm really scared, and that's why I need to get there.
That sounds really scary. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? And I don't want to get in trouble for it. So when you talk about your family like that and that connection that you always feel that's always open,
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt that. I've never known what it means to know that someone is out there who considers me their own. But when we were on the Bloom planet and that thing came out of me, that force, that dark energy, that's the closest I've ever felt to being home.
Do you know anything about your parents?
No. I've asked I've asked around the Abbey a couple times, and I don't think that they were hiding anything from me. If they were, they're pretty good at it. I'm not, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. I don't know. I guess I was hoping you'd tell me that, I don't know, you maybe had an answer or something. I don't want that to be the feeling of home. I feel connected to you, and being part of this group, I'm starting to understand this word family and this word, having attachment, and I don't know what that other force is, that darkness, but it's not the family I want.
I think that's all that matters. As long as you know what you want. Maybe it's a part of you. Maybe it's, we all have a dark side. Even me. You haven't seen me at my worst. It's probably going to come. But you're building this family, and we are your family. And just because we're not related by birth doesn't mean that we can't share a connection and a bond.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tag holds up a little piece of pear, the piece of pear that he's had in his hand this entire time, to just cheers with Bryn. And he smiles and he takes a bite and kind of has trouble swallowing it because he knows that even in this, he didn't really try as hard as he could to reveal the whole truth. And he didn't really go into detail about just how much it felt like home, just how connected he felt to that force.
We cut to the bridge, and you see the vessel approaching what could be misconstrued as a large satellite floating in the middle of nothing. And as the ship approaches, a crackle of purple energy ripples over this satellite, and the ship winks out of existence. And when it pops back, it's right next to another one of these satellites, except when the camera pans around, we're no longer outside of nothing. We can see very prominently a large planet that you've just entered into the sector of. And it appears to be surrounded by a red barrier, much like the green one you saw on the Bloom planet. At this point, we are going to take a 2-minute, tight 2-minute bio break.
Can we had a donation come in that wasn't read, so can I read it really quickly?
Spread the word, spread the word.
All right, Merkworky donated $30.
Yeah.
And she says, okay, but did Tag acquire some new pants or clean his weapons at all? Or did anyone heal? Also, cool shirt, Casey.
Fucking
Hey.
heal. When we get back, heal. All of you. You're on mute.
You're
Yay!
muted, Connor.
You're
You're
on
on
mute.
mute.
He knows.
It's Mutiny.
I didn't. Oh, mutiny. Okay, very funny. One, thank you for the donation. That's incredibly kind because you do a shit ton of work for this channel. In addition, two,
That's my
why is everybody getting on Tag's back about the fucking minutia of this thing? You know, yeah. Let's assume, unlike healing, he does attend to certain tasks like cleaning his blade.
We'll be back in
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the tip.
See you in a couple minutes.
all having books.
Oh.
I'm a second too late every time.
Oh, darn it. We missed it. We missed it.
All right.
Keep going up.
So this is what I think happens. Pending any other actions you guys would like to take.
Your
Is there-
video is not showing up.
Mine?
Mm-mm. Yours and Casey's videos
Yeah.
are just Skype screens. You're coming back.
What's up? What's the action? I'm in?
You're in.
Okay. Is there any other actions you would like to take on?
Now Connor's gone.
Connor
What?
sucks anyways.
Well, no, I don't. I'm great.
We're back. Yay.
So, is there any other actions you'd like to take on Haven?
I can think of one thing. I don't know if my camera has been resolved, but I feel like
I still cannot see you, Casey.
He's back.
am I back? I think Puck might try to talk to Rex now that he sees that she's been put in charge of Haven and has some sort of affirmative position with the company, that she might be able to help Puck sort out his situation, since the company is sort of responsible for the situation that he's in. She might be able to be primed for the idea of, gaining access to their systems to figure out how to maybe get him and Sam to back to their regular state of being.
Yeah, where do you want to have this conversation?
Does Rex have a room now that she's the honcho of the Haven?
She would still have her same room, only because she might be able to go take Shavanaz's position on Seraph, but you just have the bunk here. You'd have a bunk, or she'd be spending a lot of time on the bridge.
Okay, well, I would say it's sort of private. Maybe I try to wait until Rex goes to her quarters, and then, after a shower amount of time or whatever, go and try to give a little gentle tap on the door. Hey,
Hey.
would you have a minute by any chance?
Sure. And I say, come on in, unless you'd be more comfortable out in the hall. This doorway is a...
I can duck. I'll just
Okay.
kind of duck in and thank you.
I've been meaning to say this. I really appreciated your help with the guards. And you have a good way of talking to people, and I think you did a lot to, save us from hurting ourselves or anybody else.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's nothing. Luke, Mika, Zaza, Fran, Zip, Big Mike, Serioj, and Hank are all really great. Really great people. And
Hank's kind of a bummer, but
Oh, it's just because he's got sticky fingers. He kept accidentally, flipping these cards in crazy eights, and I'm not one to hold a grudge. It just seemed like he was, Anyway, I didn't come here to talk about Hank, though. Yeah, I'm not here to talk about Hank or any of them really. They all respect you quite a bit, though. So it definitely made it much easier. You saw how before I wasn't me, and now I am me. And
you've definitely changed form, but I don't know. You seem maybe still essentially the same person.
Oh, okay. Well, I
But I don't know how that works.
uh, yeah. So there's le- hmm, if you have time, I'll just let you know how this came to be.
Regale me with your tale.
Long story short, Puck, captured by the company. They were going to do things to me, not the friendly things. It was not a voluntary capture. Um, Sam was snooping around or doing whatever it is that he does, and he found me. And while he was trying to free me, we sort of got embedded into each other.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we'd, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but we'd kind of like to not be sharing the same temporal space. And I thought, as being part of the company, you might have access to information that would separate us.
Wow.
It's really embarrassing, honestly.
So can you guys, I guess, do you, is it totally separate? Like when you don't know what's going on with him, and when he's
No,
him, he doesn't know what's going on with you,
it's sort
or
of like being a backseat driver with a gag on. So, well, I can watch when he was, playing cards, I could watch him, miss the hat a bunch of times. That's why I knew the cards were in the cell. But
right?
um, yeah, and it's yeah. So, like for example, right now I can tell that he's not super happy because I'm driving.
Wow, man. How long has it been like that?
Not a long time. This is relatively new. So, uh, you know, uh, he was, snooping around after the merge, trying to, figure out how to separate us, and that's when we got picked up by the company and imprisoned again. Um, and yeah, it's anyway. Regardless of my emotional discomfort, it seems like, you know, just if at any point you can do a computer thing and be like, oh, it's why he came. We were trying to get to the professor. He, instead of experimenting on us, he was going to maybe be able to help us. But yeah, that went sideways.
So I'm sorry, you think the company was going to experiment on you?
Yes,
That's why they abducted you?
yes.
I mean, that it doesn't sound as crazy as I'd like to admit that it sounds. Uh, and I kind of look at him and what I say is, uh, what I say is, you've been really, really helpful to us, and I really appreciate that. And both you and Sam seem like great guys, but I don't know that I can personally help you with getting separated. And I'm uh, trying to very subtly, like look down at my hand, where I'm trying to like tap something out in Morse code and just praying that he knows Morse code.
I don't think I don't think Puck does. No. Is your hand twitching? It looks like maybe you need some more potassium.
Oh yeah, running the ship. I just forget to eat sometimes. It's just crazy because
Yeah.
I've got snacks and snacks over here that I have to eat all the time.
Well, I appreciate you hearing me out. It's okay that you can't help. I'm sure whenever Sam comes back, I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. Well, it's pizza night, so Sario's is in the kitchen. If you need any snacks, it's looking like one heck of a variety pack tonight. So everybody will be there. All right, see ya.
Great. Maybe we can play cards sometime or something.
Hey, this sounds good.
There is something I would like to do before we go on any further missions.
Yes.
I would like to go. I'll just say, I'll take out the I would like and just say, I go to the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I am not an engineer by training or trade, I've certainly been around. My father was an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see how successful I am at it. But I would like to build a device that will, a small, pocket device that could disrupt communications that other people might be listening in on.
Like an EMP? Bubble?
Yeah, preferably one where the people listening wouldn't necessarily realize that anything was out of the ordinary.
Okay. You're going to use a move that we have. Brian had it in his character sheet. It's called Weird Science. So I'm just going to need you to roll plus sharp. And basically what this is going to do is you've outlined a couple things that you want it to do. You want it to disrupt communication, be small and inconspicuous, and also not let the people know that the communication is being disrupted. Your success on this roll will dictate how you are able to do these things.
Great.
How well.
Now is not the time for a fail.
Double six.
Double sixes.
Okay, sure. I think that it just takes some time, but with double sixes, you create a device that will allow you to, and I was going to really fuck you on this, so you're lucky that you got double sixes. Your device does what you want it to do, and it fits in your pocket. The range on it is not going to be a room. You cannot step into a room and cloak the whole room. You can get yourself and one other participant in a conversation obscured from recording. Audio only, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. You can make two-person conversations not recorded. Now, if I forget and I try and sneak something at you like I did with Brian with those cool robots, you just remind me and we'll strike it from the record. And I'll have to think
ideally, I will remember to say, because anyone who is listening in, I think there's some room for fudging there.
It does feel like it needs to have an on-off toggle, not just a on.
Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah, it definitely. I definitely have to engage it, and
sure.
I think
I specified it doesn't cloak you from visual recording, so there will need to be some subtlety on your part. It's not just always on.
Yeah.
In fact, that's fucking pointless to just track charges. So yeah, you're lucky. Okay. You're lucky.
Double sixes, man.
We're gonna say over the course of the journey, that you guys have time to heal. So everybody's gonna take full heal.
That's okay. I think Tag's fine.
Sure. Actually, just take 2 additional harm. I think that'll be put you in a realm that you're used to operating in.
Yeah. I just want to get a good, buzz of bodily disruption.
But before we drop, Lisa, we ran over something we asked you to announce at the beginning of this about the donations or the dancing. The dancing?
Oh, yeah, we're $70 away from dance break, I just realized. So thank you so much, Worky, for getting us closer to that. If we hit, we will have random music played, and we will dance for you guys.
And only for you guys.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are freshened up. I think flight time, you would have been on this ship for 2 to 3 days. And over the course of those 2 to 3 days, we would have seen the scene between Puck and Rex. We would have seen Rex in the workshop. And we would have seen Bryn in the workshop as well, and Tag and Bryn having a moment. And as this completes and your ship winks back into orbit, or near orbit, around this big planet, it's going to be the time where you guys approach the Void Jumper. And so, for the first time, you are walked through what it will require of you, which is not much. It is a small craft that can hold 4 people.
Why are we taking the Void Jumper? I thought we were taking Haven to the planet.
Haven is going to enter into orbit, and then you are going to be dropped out of the bottom of the ship, and the Void Jumper is going to take you to the planet. It's the reason that you couldn't use it to escape earlier. Haven and Seraph will remain in orbit until the planet-side situation is resolved.
I guess what I'm asking is, why are we taking an experimental craft with no return option to get down to this planet?
It is the reason that Shavanot asked for your help. They believe it is the only reason, or the only way for anybody to get onto the planet right now. The company has tried to make contact with these worlds. All communication has been disabled, and they've not been able to land any crafts. It seems like the ships have trouble getting through the barriers, and if they can without being destroyed on the outside, they don't know what happens to them once they pass through. So what they're doing is they're going to use this Void Jumper. Was not designed for this purpose, but it seems to be built for something like it. You guys are loaded in and strapped in, and Captain Matt Vansel has actually come down to the hangar bay to see you off. And he says, basically, we're going to clear the hangar bay and open up the hatch that's underneath this vessel. We can't aim it once it drops, so we're going to get into what we feel is a close enough place to civilization, but far enough away that if we miss, it won't be bad for the people down there. Once it drops, you're not going to have any way to stop it. Its safety precautions are built into it, so it will crash land in a way that will preserve all of you. There is an experimental part of this whole endeavor because we've never actually tried this thing, so you're the first. Once you're down on the planet, we're not going to be able to make any contact with you or pick you up until you drop the barrier, so I recommend dropping it as quickly as possible. Whatever you did on Bloom, you need to do again on Fire.
You mean kill a giant scorpion monster summoned from an elder god on a different plane of existence?
Is that what you did on Bloom?
What? Achoo, sorry. Achoo. What? No, is that a secret? Who am I talking to?
I just don't think that you guys fully debriefed after the mission. It would be, he just thinks you guys did some crazy adventurer stuff and then all the problems were fixed. Also, the company wouldn't have told him anything. Anyway, he says, so we think this thing's going to work and we think it's not going to kill you, but we won't know for sure. So we're going to hang out in orbit for a while just to see if you can drop the barrier. Anything else you need from us? Awesome.
Yeah.
And he closes the hatch. And from the outside, you just kind of see this. And he leaves. And you can see all of the robot personnel who have been doing last-minute tweaks on this Void Jumper pull out of the hangar bay. And then you see that they go into the lift and go up, and everything gets sealed. And there's a moment where you wonder if you'll know if the hatch opens up underneath you, and then you drop. There's some kind of acceleration that's tooled into this thing, and you remember from several episodes back now that it's a combination of very, very, very dense metal, which has been incorporated with some weird tech and a lot of magic. There's been like glyphs and wards carved into this thing, and it's just radiating. And you start plummeting down towards the fire planet. And there's a moment when you break through the barrier, and it just shocks you guys, and your stomach goes straight into your throat. And it feels like that part of the roller coaster where you finally go over the hill and go, and then you start to pick up speed. And you can't really see anything outside of the window besides this fire that's rippling over the craft. You feel no heat inside, and you hear nothing. It's completely silent, awkwardly so, because it seems pretty fucking nuts outside, and you're all just sitting inside in complete silence looking at each other from
And I'm
across a
doing
small
this.
aisle. Checking your pulse?
No,
No!
that's the anxiety place you push.
Got it.
For space sickness.
Yes.
And you guys plummet for a while, and then you land. And it's a very jarring experience. But whatever is protecting this thing makes it like an abrupt stop. Nobody's injured, and your seatbelts hold. When the door opens automatically, it just hisses and then shoots off. Unlike the smooth sliding doors you've had, it just flies into the sand and creates this huge rut, which points your attention to the horizon in front of you. You're in the middle of what appears to be an endless desert.
Oh boy, it's gonna be hot.
And there's nothing in front of you except more and more and more sand. Your first task on this planet is going to be how you're going to survive. But that is where we black out.
Hey, Jesse, may I offer a thought?
Please.
Am I muted again? I feel like I'm just. I have
You were
paranoia
very
about being
quiet.
I hear you.
I just want to remind everyone, but Jesse in particular, that in the kind of between season retooling of this character, Tag gained a move called Premonitions. At the start of each mystery, roll plus weird, and visions and all that stuff. I don't know if landing at the fire planet would mark the start of this mystery, or if that's something we want to save for a little later. But we do have that in our pocket.
I believe it is.
Because I should be rolling sometime.
Official start. If you want to roll that now, go ahead.
Yeah. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have some premonitions, man.
All right.
Some spooky feelings.
I think let's roll us back in time just a little bit. I don't know why. I think this is my instinct that it's at that moment, the top of the roller coaster, and our organs float up, and then we rush down, and it's in the kind of piercing tinnitus quiet of the ship as we experience that drop. That as the heart falls in the chest, Tag just has a flash. Okay, not okay. That's fine. He has an 8, a flash that if you gave it a number, it would be an 8.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, you get clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen. You see a room, and you recognize it, though you've never been there before. You saw it in a memory that you shared of Bryn's, in which she was experiencing what it's like to wield fire magic for the first time with her mother. There's a long row of columns which lead to a raised dais and a large carved sandstone throne. Sitting on this throne, you're caught off guard because it would make perfect sense that you're about to see Bryn's mother again, the summoner. But it's not her mother. It is a tall man. He has Bryn's mother's staff in his hand, and his robes are torn on the front, and he's bleeding in his chest. But he's laughing. And on the floor at his feet, you see a figure that you cannot recognize other than they are wearing the ceremonial summoner robes. And there is a puddle of blood that is starting to spread around. And as you snap out of this vision, you're looking right in Bryn's eyes, and she can see that all of the color has drained from your face. And she says,
What did you see?
just
What's
as
wrong?
boom, the void jumper crashes down, and the front door pops open, and you guys are standing in an endless desert, and the first thing you remember is that you didn't pack any motherfucking water. Blackout.
Oh,
This is the
geez.
cursing episode. This is we're earning
Oh,
our.
yeah.
Cuss words so far, yeah.
I mean, we
Once we
definitely
start,
earned the
my-
R rating with the like insect nests made of human corpses, but we're earning it
True.
again for a different reason. And next week we'll be earning it with full frontal male nudity.
Yeah.
So
All
tune
right.
in next Wednesday.
They
Is that-
forced these clothes on me today.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If y'all can tell us where people can find you on the socials, starting with Jesse.
I'm at Jesse_Keeter at Twitter.
Yes. Trin.
Trin Miller at Twitter.
Connor.
At Connor_Marks. Don't have an OnlyFans yet, but if there's enough interest from the public, it's but a few clicks away.
Oh, boy. Casey.
Look, I need some. Yeah, okay, Casey.
I'm Case Jackalope at Instagram.
Awesome. And I'm Lisa Coronado. You can find me on Twitter at Lisa Coronado. Also on Twitch, I stream under the name It's a Smalls World. Smalls is plural. We're starting the Ghost of Tsushima. That's what it's called. I'm starting that tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Enjoy it.
I'm pretty excited. Thank you all so much. And thanks to our tech guru, Sharon Bebop.
Yeah.
And to Aaron Bewan, who did our wonderful music, all original music in the beginning, which is fantastic. And to Zombie Orpheus Entertainment for hosting us crazies. And you can find Friday, they're going to be streaming Random Things with Ethan at 6 p.m. And then on Monday, Masters of the Metaverse will be here at 6 p.m. And then we will be back next week to start on the Fire Planet. Thanks a lot, guys.
Come, thank you. Tell your friends, join us.
Yeah.